All right, everybody, it is True Happy John coming at you with another Diablo Immortal video. This one is going to be the Season 5 Paragon Tree guide. We're going to talk about why this one's going to switch up just a little bit and what skills that you're going to want to kind of prioritize because of the new content that we've actually gotten. All right, so we are back at it again, ladies and gentlemen. We finally made it back across the 240 threshold. Season 5 is upon us. The new battle pass is obviously up. I am going to actually, like I said in an earlier video, I'm going to go free to play. So I'm not going to buy this battle pass at all. I'm just going to play it, see how it goes. But yes, you see Season 5 battle pass, we have it. This also means that what happens with these battle pass? Well, this is a new month and usually a new season usually lends to a different strategy, right? Like what new content has come out or is going to be coming out that really requires a certain strategy to be placed. Well, I'm glad you asked what this season's strategy is. Well, let's talk about it. So unlike previous strategies and previous seasons where I basically told you to come into the Paragon Tree, do Treasure Hunter, do your Gladiator, take some Mastermind just to get this attack here essentially, right? And then go over here to Vanquisher to get the rest of the attack. That's been my general topic of discussion, is get as much attack stats as you can by getting more we'll call them passive attributes, right? Because that's what these whole, when you click on these, like this armor penetration is here. That's also what damage is right here. These are passive attributes. So you don't have to have the tree active to get you the stats. Now, Season 5, we are a lot further in the game than what we used to be. It used to be what these 4 trees here were the ones to do. Soldier and Mastermind were just left out because there was no really good content other than Arena to use these on. Now the dynamic has changed. The game, unfortunately, is losing a little bit of steam compared to what it was at launch and with more people enveloped. So even like PvP is becoming less and less, I wouldn't say important, but it's becoming less played, right? However, the new content that Diablo Immortal seems to be releasing seems to stem around the idea of doing warband content. Now, this also means if Diablo Immortal is going to go the route of relying more on your team effort and team collaborative to kind of do more damage, to unlock new content for general just playthrough, then you also need to kind of tailor your character to go with that synergistic team of 8, right? So this means you're going to want to look at these Soldier and Mastermind Paragon trees. Now, I will do a dedicated video talking about every single one of these trees, probably later on. This is going to be this. But I do want to give you a go ahead and quick breakdown of what you should be doing. So let's pull up our handy dandy calculator. Right now, server Paragon is actually 244 as of recording this. This is kind of at the beginning of Season 5. So let's type in 244 because that's how many Paragon points we have to work with at this moment in time. Let's go ahead and pull up the Paragon tree and let's start talking about which ones are going to be imperative and which ones you want to bring. So there's a couple of options here. Now, one thing that struck out to me is because of the warband stuff, you're going to be doing a lot of farming in the Heliquary raids. Also, a lot of you are probably going to be doing the endless trials or the endless run thing in the castle, because that seems to be one of the best content drops. So that seems to be the most fun, right? So you guys are going to probably want to prioritize what's fun in the game versus what's not fun in the game. Also, if you're running a lot of dungeons and you are, say, under server Paragon level, or you are a low resonance player, because unfortunately, now that we've scaled so high to where we're in Hell 5, and obviously we have no clear sight of what Hell 6 even is, a lot of people are actually struggling to get into Hell 5 because their combat rating really needs to be above. It needs to be 5,025 or above. I'm just now right at it. That's as of reaching level 240 today and then farming up to 241. So it's struggling for some people. Now, I'm not saying that I'm everyone and not everyone is having the struggle. Some people have less resonance than I do and aren't having a whole lot of problems, but others have a lot less than what I have. So that's where this is really going to come into play with this whole Season 5, what Paragon trees should be picking up, because the Paragon trees make a big difference as far as what stats you get. So let's talk about which ones you want to take. So, for example, I want to say Mastermind has always been kind of a crowd favorite for me when you actually can have a good squad running with you that is a very differential squad. For example, all the video guides I've been doing recently about speed farming dungeons, Mastermind is key because it allows you to do a lot of damage very quickly. So keep in mind that Mastermind has all party members within 5 yards of you gain 3% increased skill damage, while your party has members from 4 different classes. So if you run, like I recommend, a barb, a monk, a satyr, and a DH, this is huge, right? This is going to give you more increased skill damage from just running in a normal group. You'll see that this costs 1 point or 6 points to get here. And then obviously you only had to put 1 point in this one, so it cost you 7 points, 8 points to get mutual defense. All party members within 5 yards of you gain 3% additional damage reduction, while your party has members from 4 different classes. So once again, because you have a full diversified class, you're getting a lot of defensive stats, which is allowing a lot of people under server Paragon to go ahead and progress in the PvE content, as well as in the new warband content, right? And if we keep moving along, you have also find weakness. While your party has members from 4 different classes, your attacks have a 5% chance to make bosses vulnerable for 3 seconds. Also extremely helpful for speed farming. And then if we come up here to superior coordination, this obviously just raises the radius link so you don't have to be grouped up together. Now this one isn't as impactful. However, I would say you want to grab it anyways if you are someone who is under the server Paragon anyways, because these life nodes are huge. Life and damage nodes in the Paragon tree are the most impactful on your character because you get the most fuck for your buck, so to speak. Because for 1 point, you get 200 life per point, which that scales consistently with all the stats on your character for combat rating, right? So this allows you to kind of cheat up just a little bit without having to have the best gear in the world. Now, how many points does this mean that you'd have to sacrifice to run Mastermind? So currently I have 30 points invested. I need to go over here. I want to grab this one. I think it's going to be worth it. It doesn't have to be grabbed, but I would grab it myself if I'm going to be running this tree in that type of scenario. This means that we're going to be plus 21 more points added or needed. So that means we need 51 points. So let's go ahead and subtract 51 points. Okay, now we have 193 points. And what are you going to be doing with 193 points? What do you got left? All right, so now you got to start figuring out, okay, which ones are what am I prioritizing next? Am I prioritizing Treasure Hunter, Soldier, Gladiator, Vanquisher, Survivor? What makes the most sense? Honestly, come look at the Soldier tree. Now, when these trees released, we said they were trash. And honestly, they aren't that great either right now. However, because there's so much group activity content that's been released, and unfortunately that you have to do, these are now becoming the go-to skill trees, right? These are the go-to Paragon trees because of this. So hold formation, each party member within 15 yards, it reduces the damage you take by 2.5%. This is very impactful for those, once again, that are under leveled, especially, and even those people who are doing like the endless runs, right? It's gonna allow them not to die as much because they're mitigating more damage. That's awesome. You come over here to first aid. Whenever you drop below 15% life while party members are within 5 yards, you gain first aid, recovering 15% of your maximum life per second for 3 seconds. Cannot occur more than once every 300 seconds, which 300 seconds is 5 minutes. That's kind of long, right? That's kind of a long cooldown. But let's say, for example, you were doing it in this run. You're going to be doing that for 10 to 20 minutes, right? Let's say you're doing dungeon farming. It'd be nice because a dungeon on average is about 4 minutes. So this means this will be ready within 1 time per run. This is another like, oh crap, I just saved my butt on if you are under level and running these dungeons, or if you're just struggling in general. Okay, next but not last here is battle morale can now stack up to 8 times, and the cooldown of first aid is reduced to 180 seconds. Now this is huge, right? So first aid is 180 seconds. So that turns this to 3 minutes, much more manageable. Also, battle morale can stack up to 8 times, and the battle morale is this one down here. Each enemy player killed within 15 yards by one of your party members increases your damage by 3%. Unfortunately, this is each player. I don't know if this actually works for monsters or not, but either way, the key thing to this, and by grabbing this, is you're getting the first aid here, and you have to come down here and grab this anyways, because you're going to come down here, grab this, in my opinion, and then navigate over here down to sacrifice. Your death grade grants 15% additional damage reduction to our party members within 15 yards for 6 seconds. I would go ahead and grab this if you are in the instance of you are a low resonance player and you are struggling in some of these dungeons, and let's say you have other friends that are also struggling. Now, if you are not that type of player, ixnay what I just said, you will not spend the additional 31 points here to get this perk. You will stop right here at the combat veteran, in my opinion. And at that point, you have more points allotted. But let's go ahead and let's do the math for the players out there who do actually need this kind of extra stopgap, we'll call it. So we got, what is this? 15, 16, 17, plus 15 is 32, 33, 43, 53, 54. So we'll say minus 54. This allows us 139 points left. Okay, so now we have Soldier, Mastermind are taken care of. We have 139 points, and now things get a little tight. Now, do you go Treasure Hunter? Do you go Vanquisher? Do you go Survivor? In my opinion, I'm going to always fight this battle, but you got to go Treasure Hunter. You got to go ahead, grab the 54 points for Treasure Hunter. And even then, actually, you know what? You could probably not grab the Treasure Hunter. You could really, like, you don't have to. I would say even then, if you wanted to save 16 points, just come to here on both of these and call it good, because the most impactful thing I feel in Treasure Hunter really is this 50% more XP and the gold. That's what I really feel is the most impactful with Treasure Hunter. Not so much the fact that, yeah, you can get this increased a little bit here, sure, but I think for the 16 points, it may not be worth it to grab it. However, armor penetration is kind of nice because obviously that scales with your crit damage. So let's definitely keep that in mind, but I'm going to say take it all. That's what I'm going to do personally. So let's go ahead and let's subtract another 54. This means we have 85 points left. Now for 85 points, what should we be grabbing and why? So you have options. We talked about what do you do when you have a full party of 4 that are all different characters. You're going to be running Mastermind or Soldier, right? Well, let's say you don't have that situation. Let's say you're still struggling in Hell 5, or you are still trying to do the solo content for the Warband content. Vanquisher, I think, has now become key. Vanquisher now allows you to actually utilize a little more damage. And I like Vanquisher because, one, it's attack, it's life, it's damage, and it's armor penetration. It's literally the three stats that are the most impactful for doing damage and sustain. And all these damage nodes and these life nodes are the most fluck for your buck when it comes to spending your Paragon points. So it's okay to spend them on this. Now, it's also, I know a lot of people who come up here and they go ahead and they do, they grab all this stuff here because they also want the deeper pockets. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that at all. But I do highly recommend that you go ahead and you grab all these judgments and everything else. So this is going to be a total, another 26 points required. So this is going to be minus 57, minus 26. That leaves you 2 points. At that point, you can come over here and I would honestly just start going for the Survivor tree to grab a couple of life nodes. Or come over to the Gladiator tree, maybe grab some armor pen and kind of go from there. It's going to be up to your disclosure. But at this point in time, I feel like with the state that the game is in and the fact that PvP is slowly dying because more people are getting away from it because there's too many whales out there, and people are more focused on the PvE type content with warbands, and the fact that people are struggling so much to get into Hell 5 or just make that slow transition. I feel like the setup that I just explained to you guys with your treasure or with your Paragon tree is going to be the most beneficial for everyone in Season 5 if you are in that situation. Now, everyone who's going to leave comments saying I'm completely wrong, please correct myself down below. Let me know why. But I am suggesting this, once again, full disclaimer, for the players that are around server Paragon or a level that are actually, or lower, that are actually struggling getting into Hell 5 or doing some of the more in-game content that has now been released. I hope this helps a lot of you out there who have been struggling, because this is another way to kind of weasel away around, like getting your way into the in-game content. And it's pretty easy to get, honestly. So hopefully this helps you. And if it did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.